Hey guys, let's talk about being self-sufficient or responsible for self when it comes to your health. When I return on the Eric McNeil Be Free Show.
Black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel. You found me. My name is Eric McNeil, and this is the Eric McNeil Be Free Show, where we talk about being financially independent, responsible for self, enjoying life, and empowering others. So today, first of all, you may hear some noise because the workers are very close working, but I'm going to just go ahead and continue to record even in the midst of the noise. But anyway, on the last episode, we spoke about the R in being responsible for self as being self-sufficient. Now, one of the things about being self-sufficient is that you have to be in control of your health if you plan on being self-sufficient. If you're not a healthy person, and you're dependent on doctors, and you're dependent on medicines, and you're dependent on this system of the matrix that you're caught in, there's no way that you can be self-sufficient because you have too much dependency. Sometimes when I speak with people and I tell them that I don't go to the doctor for checkups. I haven't been to the doctor, I can't even remember in how long. Now, sure, I believe that doctors have their place. If you fall and bump your head, you get a concussion, or you fall and break your arm, then yes, you need to go to the doctor and go to the hospital to have treatment. But I believe that it's abnormal for you to just have to go to the doctor to talk about a checkup. But some people believe that that's absolutely necessary. I was talking with one woman maybe a few years back, and we were sitting down having dinner, and I told her, you know, I don't go to the doctor for checkups, and she looked at me as though she had saw a ghost, like, you don't go to the doctor, that's just... And I said, why do you need to go to the doctor? You can check your own vitals, you can check your blood pressure, you can check your heart rate, and, you know, so provided those things are normal, why do you think you need to be going to a doctor? Well, it's just necessary to go to the doctor. I got to, you know. So this is the type of matrix system that we're caught in, where you just think you have to be going to a doctor, and then the more you go to the doctor, the sicker you get. Whereas I believe you should be responsible for your own well-being, your own health, doing your own checkups. And I live in the bushes, so everything I need is around me. We believe that we need to go to a pharmacy and take these meds, when in actuality every medicine that you find in a pharmacy is based on some type of a plant, a combination of plants that they found, and they've been able to patent it, and now they're selling you a medicine when really you can just go around and use the plants that you know are the primary ingredients in these things. So today I'm actually in the process of making a tiger nut milk, and I had mentioned the tiger nuts previously as being these little they're like roots. They come out of the ground. You would see them growing up in most times cases, maybe they look like weeds, so you know they're weeds, so people just spray weed killer on them, when in actuality it's food. And it's one of it's actually, now they're saying, oh, this is a superfood. So they get you to buy things that you can easily grow yourself, and they wrap it up and process it, and then they call it a superfood, right? So today what I'm going to do is take these tiger nut milks. I can take about a half a kilogram, and then I can make maybe I believe they say, you know, it's maybe three liters or so worth of milk with just a half a kilogram of tiger nuts. So that's what I'm going to do today. And we're going to continue to talk about being responsible for your health as I go through the process. So I'm going to use a blender. I have to improvise today because the blender actually, and that's the thing about here, there's a lot of cheap products. So you think things are cheap, but they're cheap because they only last, you know, maybe 20% of the lifespan that you would expect it to last, or even less. This blender is probably less than a couple of years old. It's already, and then I have this even larger blender. This large one is kind of based off of the Vitamix. Like if you're from the US, you've heard of a Vitamix blender. That's probably one of the best blenders that you can buy. Very strong, like a commercial type blender. But this is like a Chinese knockoff they sell here. And you know, it has the same look and supposed to be a heavy duty professional blender. So it's basically a knockoff of the Vitamix. But I've had this one probably less than a year, and it's already, I mean, the blender base itself is still good, but the actual bowl up here, the holder, it went bad. So it's, yeah, so it's no good. So unless I can find another one of these, then I can't use that blender. But that's how you can easily go through money here, because the products, a lot of Chinese products that are knockoffs and they don't last any time. And you know, you wonder why in the US, well, you have a lot of Chinese products and they're very good. As here you have a lot of Chinese products and they're not. So it just shows you the difference in the quality control when you're getting products in the West from the Chinese versus what they send to Africa. Yeah, it's very disappointing that, you know, you go through so much money on poor quality products. The only way that you can really be assured that you're getting good products is you have to buy the name brands. And yes, you're going to pay substantially more because they're imported, and even in the, you know, when they're imported products coming from the West or something, then you're paying much more in duties, right? Because if it's a Chinese product and it's being imported, well, it's coming in like these knockoffs. But so if you want the quality products, you have to go to the UK or to the US or somewhere, and you have to buy those products. And those products, you know, they're imported from China to the US or China to the UK, and then from the UK to Africa, from the US to Africa. So you have a much larger expense that you're paying because there's been so much handling in those products, but they are the quality products. Now, so what I'm going to do, since my bowl is bad, what I'm going to do is basically you just, to make tiger nut milk, you just take your tiger nuts and you put them in your blender with water and you just blend them. And then you squeeze the milk out. So basically, there you go. I'm going to put this, so I still have, this is a small one that I can put on this blender. So it doesn't hold nearly as much as this. So I have to do it several times. So I'm going to fill this with water. So I'm going to step off the camera and come back here to get my water. And let's see if I can move my water closer. So yeah. If you're going to be dependent, I mean, if you're going to be responsible for yourself and self-sufficient, then quite naturally you need to be able to be your own doctor, so to speak, right? When I get sick, I'm not going to a doctor. I have herbs and I have medicines and I have the entire land that I can actually pour my medicines from. Like I'm mixing up, I have neem trees on the land, I have moringa on the land, You know, you can eat all these things medicinally. You have pawpaw, which we call papaya in the U.S. So I have those leaves, are very medicinal. So once you mix those leaves up, you boil them, you bathe in it, you drink it, you can knock anything out. You don't have to be getting these fake medicines that are making you even sicker. So anyway, I'm going to put this on here and we'll see. When I use this thing, it makes a mess because it's not really, this is not really designed for liquids. It's designed for like dry things, like beans and things like that you want to blend up. And the funny thing is, one day I was looking for grits here. In the U.S., in the South, we eat grits for breakfast. And so I was looking for grits here, and I couldn't find grits. So I was like, man, I was frustrated I couldn't find grits. And this is how society has conditioned us not to think about things. We think we always have to go and find something in a store. But in actuality, when I thought about it, I had to start laughing because grits is nothing but corn. It's ground up corn. And true enough, they use certain types of grits, but you can basically grind up any corn and make grits with. But there's no grits, but there's corn everywhere. There's dried corn everywhere. And I had even had some dried corn at the house. So after my frustration with not finding grits, I had to laugh because I had corn, dried corn sitting, and all I needed to do was put it in the blender and grind it up. Voila, grits. And that's what I did, you know, now. But anyway, we've been so conditioned, so I'm going to grind this up. Yeah, so I want you to, you know, think about being self-sufficient. You have to get out of the habit of thinking that you have to run to the store for every little thing. It's like, oh, I got to go to the store and get milk, and that's just not so, and that's why we're getting sick. You know, I know a lot of people. I was vegetarian maybe 12, 13 years, and but now I eat meat and I drink cow's milk, and a lot of people now, you know, they feel as though, oh no, you should only eat plant-based this or plant-based that, and I love plant-based food still, but when you're being self-sufficient, one of the things that I'm not going to do, you know, I don't know about you, but I'm just not going to cut out half of my food supply if I'm trying to live off the land and feed myself and not be dependent on on these various stores providing food. So the thing that I do is, instead of me just saying I'm going to be totally vegetarian, I'm not going to eat any meat, what I do, my perspective is that I just want my meat and my foods to be free of chemicals and pesticides and herbicides and this type of side and that type of side, right? I just want natural, organic foods. So if it's meat, I want naturally grass-fed cow, chicken, whatever. And even milk. You know, people say, well, milk wasn't designed to be drunk by humans, humans shouldn't be drinking it, and for me, I'm like, it's not that humans are drinking milk that's the problem. Is that humans are drinking milk that has been pasteurized, or what they call it, homogenized, or whatever. That's the problem, right? You don't get sick drinking milk, right? And any more than you're gonna get sick drinking honey. If that's the case, if humans shouldn't drink milk because it comes from the cow, then well, perhaps humans shouldn't be eating honey because it comes from the bumblebee, right? I could easily argue that honey is just a vomit from a bee, and oh, why would you be eating that honey, right? Some things you just don't, we don't know why, but nature has set a course, many years, millions of years, and it's been working fine. The problem now, again, is that we have decided to change a lot of things, and pasteurized milk is what's making you sick. Because when you pasteurize milk, you put it at these high temperatures, then what you're doing is you're effectively killing all of the beneficial bacteria in the milk. Like the milk has beneficial bacteria. If you just take milk, raw milk, and you drink it, then it is extremely nutritious for you. If you just leave raw milk out, it doesn't spoil. It ferments. There's a difference. And if you take pasteurized milk and you leave it out, it spoils. And you should really understand that raw milk, it doesn't spoil, right? It just ferments, and it gets, and as you allow it to ferment, it becomes populated with even more beneficial bacteria, right? Because it's turning into what we call yogurt. Very nutritious, extremely. So this is all a part of being self-sufficient. And for me, I'm more concerned about having food where I control the logistics of where the food comes from, right? I want my food to come as unprocessed as possible. And not going, when you go in the store grabbing these packaged foods, that's the problem, right? That's the problem. Not that you're eating meat. It's that the problem is that you're eating processed foods. All right, so once we basically have our tiger nuts ground up, the only thing we're going to do is add the correct, we're just going to take this. What I'm going to do now is just take this and I'm going to squeeze it out. So I've got this cloth that I'm going to just use to take it, it's like a cheesecloth, so it's similar to a cheesecloth anyway. And what I'll do, well, the first thing I'll do is I'll strain it with a large one. So I'll use this strainer. I'm going to pour this water out. I'll do that. So let's do this. Let's take a strainer and let's pour the liquid out. Right. The only thing we're doing is strain the liquid so that we can get to the fiber. And then we're just going to basically press the rest of this liquid out of the fiber. this fiber and make like a flour with it, bake with it. But what I do is just use it, put it on my cereal. I'll put these, in some containers, and then each day I'll take a container out, and then I'll just use it as well. Yeah. All right. Okay guys, so now that I've got all of the fiber squeezed out, all of the liquid rather squeezed out of the fiber, the only thing I'm going to do is just add some more water so that I get the proper amount that I want. So basically I want up to 3 liters, so 2 to 3 liters. So we're going to measure how much I got now. Alright, so this is approximately a liter. Alright, so that gave me approximately 1 liter. So let me just add 2 more of these. Well, basically, that's about how much I want, 3 liters. Alright, so it's going to be just a little less than 3 liters. So maybe about 2 liters and 3/4 of a liter. The only thing I'm going to do is just mix all of the water and the original container. Voila. Alright, so once I mix that, I'm going to fill about 6 of these. Since we have, right at a little under 2 liters, I'm going to fill about 6 of these, halfway full. And then when I take that out, what I'll do is I'll take these 6 containers that's half filled with tiger nut milk, and then I'll freeze those. And then each day, or every other day, I'll take one out and let it thaw, and I'll use that. And that'll last me maybe 2 days. Because what you don't want to do is actually have this stuff sitting around for over 3 days because it's no longer any good, really. So I'll just freeze it and then take a little bit a day and use it. Okay? Here. Alright, so you see I got, actually ended up with like 5 containers, so what I'll do is just try to make sure we got it out. We've got this evenly distributed. Alright, so now that I've gotten it evenly distributed, I'm just going to take some tops and put on it. Let me get the right tops here. Alright, so I am finished, and this is my tiger nut milk for the week. Now, very simple recipe. So I'm just going to freeze 4 of these, and I'll leave 1 out so that I can enjoy some granola and tiger nut milk this morning with an apple cut in it. Okay guys, so I've just basically cut up an apple so that I can put in my granola, and this is just some of the tiger nut fiber that I had, so I'm going to just put some of this in here to add to my cereal this morning. Then take my granola and we'll put some of this in here. Okay guys, so I've made my granola, tiger nut milk, apples sprinkled with stevia. That's my breakfast this morning. And as always, if you enjoy what we're talking about, you want to learn how to be free, then hit this subscribe button, like, share, comment. You know the routine. You can also find me at facebook.com/Eric McNeil. It's free. And as always, hoorah, ahuru. Now be free.